Hello, nice to see you again. And I just wanted to do a little impromptu video in this car park to show you exactly what modifications my car still has. The truth is, for those of you who've been watching me from the start, you will know what modifications my car has, but there might be one or two you may have missed. I mean, modifying Mark 1s is a really popular thing. They're great cars to modify, but it has to be done tastefully, and I think subtle modifications are the best. Now, I can talk because I've previously done quite a few mods to this car, and I've subsequently, for one reason or another, reversed pretty much all them changes, apart from 3 or 4 things that I've just kept. The first one being these wheels. Now these are 16-inch alloy wheels, the 16-inch Zetec ESP alloys, as they are sometimes known. These were standard if you bought a Zetec pre-facelift, so pre-2001 October, with the 2-litre Zetec lump. You may have had leather seats, you may have had cloth seats, but you definitely got these as standard. And there's not many differences to distinguish these between the 15-inch version, which looks practically identical. The 15-inch version being standard on pretty much every Zetec since the start of production to the end of production. The only real differences visibly is that they actually stand a little bit more proud of the wheels, so they come out to the wheels a bit more, i.e. the spokes. The 15 inches, I've got a lip here. Well, this is nice and smooth around the sides. The centre caps are the same size, 15 or 16 inch. They use the same centre caps. And the tyres. Now, the tyres are really difficult to get for this car. I mean, unless you're going to go really cheap, you can't get cheap tyres for these. You can only get middle of the range or luxury premium tyres. The best bet I could get are these Roadstone Eurovis Sport 04 tyres. Very well rated, and I do rate these tyres. They're middle of the range, £75 a corner, and that's as good as you can get without going a little bit too cheap. I think the cheapest ones I could see were about £68 a corner. This was last year, and tyre prices, like everything else, have gone through the roof, but they sit really nice and proud. Obviously the standard 15-inch Zetec alloys sit on mainly 195 55 or 60 15-inch tyres, so a little bit more thinner in terms of width and a little bit fatter on the wall. But the result between this wheel and a standard 15-inch wheel with the correct tyre is actually they are the same height. So the height of the car has not gone up through this wheel. It hasn't been lowered either. They are actually the same height. It's just obviously because the wheel is a bigger profile compared to the tyre, it fits rather nicely, and I would not go back to 15 inches. Getting these wheels are difficult. I mean, I'm looking for a spare one now, just for emergencies, just in case I get a buckled wheel. Or some sort of other damage that can't be rectified, or cracked alloy. I don't know how that would happen unless I had an accident, to be honest, and I think that would be the least of my problems. But these wheels will frequently go on eBay for at least £50-60 a corner, and that's no joke. I've seen a set recently advertised for £300. The alloys were almost in perfect condition like mine. There's only one of them which has got slight curving. These I got for 50 quid because the guy who sold me them didn't actually realise what they actually were. He thought they were just standard Zetec alloys. How wrong was that? And £300 for a set of 4 in almost good to excellent condition with minimal defects, with good tyres, is an absolute bargain, and that's what this guy was selling them for. So if they do come up, I would really grab them with 2 hands. They are getting rare now. A lot of the 2-litre Zetec models have been broken because these wheels are actually just as probably about half the cost of probably what the car would be worth at that point. But these are really amazing. I've stuck with these. I mean, I did have ST170 alloys which I painted in diamond white. They were great, but they just didn't suit the car. I'd had enough of them and I needed something more original, and then these came up at exactly the right time. if memory serves me correctly, I didn't actually unlock this door for a start. Now this is a problem I've had a couple of times. Now I'm glad that this has happened on camera, but my driver's door has decided in the cold that it doesn't want to open. So you heard the central locking go, oh dear, I can't get in. Now this is a common problem with the central locking. I've had this previously in the cold. It is a cold morning and the central locking is gummed up a bit, but this is, yep, lovely. So what I do, lock it up, unlock it. Absolutely crackers. It is an intermittent fault on these cars, I will tell you, but I will probably go into more detail further down the line. My task at some point is to actually take the master lock mechanism out of here, all the actuator, and clean it up, because honestly that is as intermittent as what you can get. It's like it resets itself. I'm glad that's happened on camera now, because I can show you firsthand that I have problems as well with the central locking. Believe you me, I've had problems all the time. Anyway, the only modification really, honestly, I can say in here, it's not a modification, but this center console is not the correct one for my car. It's not the correct shade. It would have had a more silver finish to this. This is a grey finish. This console came out of a Ford Focus black, remarkably being this Panther black, the special limited edition, which was a pre-facelift, and it came with a grey centre console. I think the silver came with one, I think the Ellie came with one. They all had grey fascia panels, whereas the standard Z-Tech would have had a much more silver finish to this. But really, it's a very, very subtle mod, and I like the fact that this has got no damage whatsoever, and getting one of these without any damage is actually really difficult. So I've stuck with it, and it'll be on the car for the rest of the car's life, I suspect. The other one, and I've got something to show you in my pocket. You may not have noticed my vents, right? If you look at these vents, would you think that that's actually a change or a modification? Well, it's not really one that I intended to make either, but again, like the fascia, I discovered something I had no idea about, and you probably don't too. These vents are actually pre-facelift vents. They actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 slots, and then a sort of fake one there. Now, when they did the facelift, this was when Ford started cost cutting, and there was a few things they started cutting back on. For instance, these seats have got a bit more thicker foam in them. Well, this one being a pre-facelift leather seat, by the way. Yeah, because this seat slab actually came off a pre-2001 car, because my original driver's bolster completely collapsed. But this passenger one is actually original to this car, and the foam inside it is much thinner. Honestly, you can tell the difference, and I can tell the difference in actually how comfortable it feels. It actually takes away a little bit of the comfort that. But anyway, this centre vent, now this is the one that was originally with the car. I haven't got two of them, otherwise I'd actually swap these back over for originality. But yeah, can you tell the difference? It's only minor. I don't know why they changed the design. Maybe the manufacturer just changed it as well. Well, I think these are cheaper than the original, than the pre-facelift ones. So that's a pre-facelift, and this is a facelift vent. Just slightly different. I don't know why. I really don't know. But apart from the interior, oh, obviously these mats are not original to the car, but I've had these for years, and these rubber mats, you cannot get these for love or money now. They are unobtainable unless you get one second hand. So yeah, worth noting that. So we've done exterior, we've done interior. Engine bay wise, I'm struggling. I really am struggling. I've never really messed with this much. I painted the old battery tray, because that battery tray wasn't in great condition. This is a second-hand one off another car. Yeah, okay, so basically, if you've actually spotted it already, I have pointed it out. It is this snorkel, or this, well, I say that's the snorkel. This is the 2-litre automatic air deflector. Now, normally on most Focuses, apart from the 2-litre automatic, this bit wouldn't exist, this little shroud here. So basically this snorkel would just take air from this point as normal. But the 2-litre automatics were fitted with this piece, so you've got this extra piece of snorkel coming over, so it forces basically the snorkel to take air from a lower point down here. Now I suspect that's just because when the lower you take the air, the denser, the colder the air, and engines love colder, denser air to ignite the air fuel mixture much more easily. And I suspect it was done on the basis of fuel economy. The 2-litre automatic is a very rare car. I would actually like to get my hands on one since I've got the 1.6 auto, and compare the differences, because being in the automatic and all that. But I suspect that the only reason that was fitted to the 2-litre automatic was because of how thirsty the fuel consumption is. I suspect of all the Focus Mark 1s, it is the worst for fuel consumption by a long shot. But yeah, that was fitted there, and I thought, do you know what, while this was up, I bought this brand new, and I still believe today you can get these brand new, by the way. If anybody wants the parts number, just put it in the comments and I will give you the parts number. If you want to do a subtle modification, I think it looks quite nice. It does cover the VIN number. The VIN number's underneath here where the snorkel ends, but apart from that, there is no modifications under this bonnet. Is purely original. The only thing I was a bit annoyed about is I lost a little sticker that goes on there, but it's only a little thing, eh? You can't moan about these things. Oh, and recently, so the other day, I was a bit concerned about the 2 bolts that sit on the latch. They were rusting quite badly. I had to give it a bit of a clean up, a bit of a paint around here, so I had to use 2 new nuts. Just a little update on what I actually had to do. It was easy, and I didn't even move the latch. It was quite a nice job actually. Only took me about 20 minutes. So really, that's it. There is no modifications on the outside now. I have retained the originality of the car. I've tried to take it back to how it was when it would have left the factory, except for the subtle modification of those wheels, and I think you can all agree that they look better, and if you, for £50 you can't argue at that. I obviously had to change the tyres, but hey, these are all fun and games. So that is a nice subtle modification. That's a subtle mod. And inside the car, well, the vents and the fascia were not intentional, I can honestly assure you, but they are what they are, and they will stay on the car for the rest of the car's life, probably indefinitely. Yeah, as you can see, I'm a modifying geek. No, I'm not. The value for me in this car, for me, is originality, and quite a few of my subscribers share that point of view. You know, modifications are all good, and each to their own. We all enjoy different things. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning and spends a bit too much money on things. I think the nicest modification that I did, and you may have seen a photo of this, are these rear lights. Now, the original rear lights are okay, they look quite nice, but some people call them plain, quite plain. And the truth is, I had some American style LED headlamp clusters, so you have the white bit down there and the red bit's up here, but the white bit, and it's basically it was an LED. You could get them with normal bulbs or LED, and I went for LED. Unfortunately, I had it on the car for 3 years. I loved them. When I put my foot on the brake pedal at night, all you'd see is the car behind me, and the driver of the car behind me would their face would just go red every time I put my foot on the brake. They were that bright. I was a bit concerned they were too bright, but literally everything behind me lit up red, and oh, it was just hilarious. So I was a bit disappointed when they went pop on me, but this is what happens. Aftermarket stuff just pops. And they weren't cheap at 150 quid for 2, but I don't regret doing that. That was a nice little exercise, that. But anyway, you take care, guys. I will see you very soon. And oh goodness me, do you know something? I think we may have hit 500 subscribers, so please, thank you so much. We've hit the 500 mark, onwards to 1,000, probably in the next 4 or 5 months. We'll see, but I am so amazed at how far this channel has come. I'm so glad. You take care, guys. Thank you all for your support. Take care.